Today we're going to talk about the energies of water, those elemental, spiritual and consciousness properties of something that we take for granted every day. Not only are we obviously comprised of water, essential to life, essential to our human form, in terms of what we are made up of, what we are comprised of, in terms of needing to bathe in it, to drink it. But on an energy level, it very much represents the energy of flow, the energy of that flow of consciousness, that liquid flow of consciousness, the flow of energy. And on that energy level, it also represents life force, it represents emotion, waves of emotion, tsunamis of emotion. And when we talk about waves, we're not just referencing the waves on the beach, the waves in the sea, that is obviously water. We're also referencing the sound waves, the sound bands, the sound waves that are an intrinsic part of life. Let's say holding the fabric of reality in form. Water, something that is so much a part of us and our world, all interwoven with sound, frequency, vibration, flow of energy, flow of consciousness, essential to the human life form, wonderful in all its forms, whether it be the ocean, the sea, whether it be rivers, streams, and the power of that water, not only as it is life-giving, but as referenced by the work of such great people at the forefront in their time of illuminating the abilities of human, the expansions of consciousness, the amazing proof, if you will, of what humans have within them, the possibilities, the boundless possibilities and potential. Masaru Emoto and those that came after him set about proving that one can program, if you will, water, and that this can be photographed, the shapes, the forms that programming forms on water So if one is full of hate and anger and rage, the water within them, the crystals within their cells, distort in a particular way and form in a particular way that can be photographed. Equally, if love and joy, compassion, freedom, sovereignty, unity, if these kind of vibrations and frequencies, thoughts and emotions are beamed at the water within you from your own thoughts and feelings, then rather than those amazing forms being distorted, they are absolutely beautiful. They form beautiful shapes, beautiful forms. In other words, the water inside you can be programmed according to your dominant state of thought, feeling, or emotion. It's an incredible thing. And if you think of the possibilities that brings just for one individual, imagine when that is concentrated by millions of individuals. The difference that can make not only to the individuals themselves, but to the collective, to the group, to the herd, to the mass population, and also to the large bodies of water on this planet Earth, the oceans, the rivers, the streams, the water that comes out of your tap, the water that you bathe in every single day. Simplifying, we could say that one can imprint upon the water within one, an imprint upon the water, let's say externally. There is a correlation or an interaction between the both. Put simply, concentrated, concerted thought, feeling, emotion changes the composition, the consciousness, the cellular structure within us, but also changes it outside of us. It starts with the thought, the feeling, the passion, the consciousness, the vibration, the spirit. It starts out in the ethers. And as we bring it into the human vehicle, into the physical realms, the physical dimensions, combined with action-based movement, it can actually change the physical around us. There are beings associated with the water, just as there are beings associated with the land, the plants, the trees, that exist within those realms of nature. What we do affects their realms of existence, and what they do affects ours. And in terms of the water, for a very long time now, right back to the civilizations of Atlantis and Lemuria, many of those beings, and if we reference for the purpose of this video those water beings, not only have coexisted alongside us, but are holding the fabric of the reality, the higher reality that we can achieve here within the oceans, the water, the rivers, the streams themselves, in their higher form. We could say in a crystalline-like form. Beings such as dolphins and whales hold a particular sound, a particular frequency. But there are other elemental beings of the water too, that also work in those same realms to hold that fabric of reality together. Because that is the fabric of reality they exist in. They coexist in that fabric of reality alongside us, and the two are linked. We talk often in teachings of becoming the fullness of who we are, us in our most conscious state, us in our most aware state, in our most sovereign divine state. We talk about achieving that. We call that ascending into the heart, living from the heart, creating from the heart portal. We could say that these higher forms of beings of the oceans, of the water, let's say they are already doing this. They have already their own version, their own reality of living at their highest frequency. The vibration that they hold to exist in that reality also benefits us, and they are inspiring us to do the same. This short video, this short channeling, is to hopefully help with that, help to release blocked emotions within, help the flow of consciousness within you, and help to remind you to reconnect to the water inside yourselves, but the water of this most precious planet Earth, and the water that holds the energies of the beings that are also in their highest form, something that we aspire to be, us in our highest form. They are doing it. They are holding a particular fabric of reality. They do this for themselves, but they do this for the planet. And they do this to inspire us to do the same. In closing, I will share a short story, as this is always and always will be an experiential channel. I spent a delightful time a few years back in New York, on Long Island. Myself and a friend of mine did some extensive work on healing the energies of the water. And on the last day of our visit, I voiced out loud how I had always all my life wished to see dolphins, wild dolphins up close in the water, and that I hoped that the work we had done that week would inspire them to come forward and meet us. This was 2 hours before we were due back at the airport to return to the United Kingdom. We had worked extensively on the ocean, firstly to bring about some healing, to apologise really for what the oceans had gone through and suffered, and to raise the consciousness of that, to bring about an overall raising of consciousness in the water form that came through everywhere, all forms of water across New York, including what came out of the tap, all the oceans, rivers, streams, everything in water form. As we walked back along the beach towards the direction of where we were staying, something in the water caught my eye just out of the side of my vision. I turned to look what it was, and as close in to the beach as they could possibly be without being beached themselves were 5 wild dolphins. My friend and myself, we cried with joy and happiness that they had heard us, and they put on a beautiful display for over 20 minutes. For over 20 minutes we walked on the beach as they kept pace with us, leaping out of the water, swimming beside us. And it was so early in the year for this to happen that even the locals that lived there came running down to the beach with cameras. And when we asked them, was this commonplace for this time of year for this to happen and them to come in this close, they said absolutely not. It was the most wonderful gift and validated to us that we had been heard, and they had known the work we were doing on the oceans, on the water, and it was their way of saying, we heard you, thank you. It was an amazing thing. With that same friend, at another date, in the county of Cornwall in the United Kingdom, which is very much surrounded by the sea, the ocean. We were also inspired to do some work on the ocean there. And again, there was phenomenal synchronicity. It was an amazing thing, the things that happened. The shafts of light that came down upon us and on the ocean, only while we did that work, and the second we stopped, torrential rain. Before we did the work, immediately we stopped the work. But shafts of light while we were doing it. And on the photos we took, the most beautiful place there, called Cape Cornwall. Again, on those photographs what I would call crystalline dolphin. Not physical dolphin, but crystalline dolphin. Absolutely amazing, leaping out of the water. The ocean hears us. The rivers, the seas hear us. The water inside you hears you, and the water in your tap hears you. You can alter the imprints, the molecular structure, the crystals of that water, for better or worse, by your pure intent. It's absolutely connected to the health and well-being of you, of us, but also of this fantastic planet we live on. She can do it without us. But the oceans are offering us a chance to come along for the ride, to dive in, dive deep into the oceans of your own consciousness. Thank you for listening. We will complete this video by some short soundings inspired by the frequency, vibration and energy of the ocean, of the water inside us, to help stimulate that flow, stimulate that awareness, and move those emotions through. Thank you.